Welcome to Toffee TV. Me and Ped, joined by two Everton legends. It is Dr. David France here, and is the one and only wizard of the wing, Ronny Goodlass, of course. Ped's been ousted. He was here. He's
from
been...
the.
It's like royalty.
It is.
When royalty comes in, you step down.
Dr. Everton in my seat.
The way it is.
Keeping it warm for me.
It's just, I think he might be keeping it. Anything could happen here because these have come in full of stories. So
Gin,
literally,
I think
anything could happen.
That's later.
But the first video we're going to talk about, lads, is obviously since you were both back last then, we've got a new manager. So David, let's start with you. Roberto Martinez has gone to the second best international football team in the world and has been replaced by Ronald Koeman at Everton. Just initial thoughts on Mr. Koeman's appointment?
Oh, what a wonderful footballer he was. I mean, if he's anything like, as a manager as he was a footballer, we've got a real star. I think it's a wonderful signing. I really do. And I think bringing his brother as well, I mean, his brother is a tremendous asset. And bringing in Steve Walsh as well. I think we've been very patient, meticulous, methodical in getting the right people in.
Yeah.
I wish we'd got them in a little bit earlier, but I think we've done a real good job getting them in. Now it's a question of being patient while he puts the team together. Because from what I saw on Saturday, we don't have much of an improvement in the team than we did last year. But I'm very patient, I'm very optimistic, and I think we've got a first-class manager. I think one thing we must worry about is being able to sustain the manager. We need to keep the money coming in to afford him the transfer kitty. And the concern is in 2 years down the line, if we're successful, if he's successful, he'll be looking somewhere else, or people will be looking at him. And 2 years down the line, what kind of team will we have left? I hope it's not a team full of veterans of 30-year-olds, 32-year-olds. We need to keep one eye on the immediate term and the other eye on the longer term.
Ronny, you? Ronald Koeman, good appointment?
Yeah, I banged the drum for 12 months about him. I thought Martinez should have went long before he did. 12 months, I think we're seeing the effect of keeping him on too long. I think Bill should have well got shut of him. I really did. I thought not just the football but the whole club. Not just losing the dressing room. I thought the way we were playing was very, very poor. I was just lucky Radio Merseyside paid me, because everyone who paid to watch that, I certainly wouldn't have watched it. And you know, I've said a lot of things about it, but he's gone. But I still think we're seeing players' minds are still in the Martinez mould. I think David's right. We do need to give Koeman patience, but it's going to be one hell of a league next season, and I really mean it. You've got Aston Villa went down, and Newcastle. I can see a couple of big, massive clubs going again. And if we don't sort of back him, the only thing I can say disappointed with him is maybe sorting the Lukaku and Stones deals out. You know, you're either staying or you're going. Let's get it done and dusted and get other players in. And I still think we've got a lot of deadwood there. We got 6 free transfers at the end of it, which we needed other squad members to come in. We haven't replaced them. So we've got a really thin squad last season. We've got it even thinner this season. And the thing again, like Martinez getting the Belgian job, they must be off their cake. I can't believe a committee has picked him. I think he's trying to get Nias's nationality changed, Ped, to get him to play for Belgium. But honestly, I can't get my head around it. But that's football. You know, Jimmy Greaves once said, obviously, it's a funny old game, and I think it certainly is. But we have got to get players in. End of story. We're going to take a hit because, you know, it's a wash with money. Football now, and I don't care about Ashley Williams, another 5 million. Is he 29? Is he 30? Is he 32? It doesn't matter. Get 2 or 3 years out of him with his character, mentality, and to bring the younger players on. But we need it now. You know, there's only a couple of weeks to go before the transfer window closes. You've got to put up with what you've got. And I certainly don't think, after watching the game on Saturday myself, that we've got it. I watched the testimony, okay, Man United, which you can't really go off. But I still don't think Koeman knows his best team. What to play. He usually plays 3 at the back when we play against good sides. So is he going to swap and change? And it's hard for players that are in one mode of playing, all of a sudden to switch off and say, right, this is how I want you to play now. Press high up the pitch. We've got to go longer. So I think, you know, the first 6 games looked half decent, but the 6 first games could be whoops, you know.
Do you think, Ron, because he said, hasn't he? He's come out yesterday and said they're not aggressive enough. Do you think he's had enough time to change that mentality? Because he hasn't had he hasn't had that much time, has he, really?
No, but I think Ped. We were saying before about networking. He's been in the Premier League long enough to know good or bad players. Not just his own club at Southampton, but also Everton.
Yeah.
Your James McCarthy's, Barry's on the end of his career. You're going to get the best out of Ross Barkley. You're going to play a certain way. So as soon as you come into the club, all them pre-season games, which again, I don't think we've had a hard pre-season.
No,
and I've said it, I've been on the show before. Yeah. For the last few years under Martinez, do us a favour. Yeah. You've got to be like a boxer. For next Saturday, as soon as that whistle goes, you're at it. Yeah. And I don't think we have. I mean, you could have fell asleep after time.
Can I ask, Ronnie, can I ask you a question? I would have thought that...
Just the one, David, go on.
I would have thought that as an experienced manager, he would have had his hit list of players. I'm sure they all carry a hit. Now, I'm saying key players, a goalkeeper. He's been in European football long enough to know the 2 or 3 goalkeepers he was always want if he had the money to acquire them. He must know the centre half amongst maybe more than anything. He must know the kind of centre half and the specific individuals that he would want to sign. Well, why haven't we signed them?
No, nobody you're right. I totally agree with you. But that's where I've got a slight problem with him. He's got a fantastic contract, so Everton wanted him badly. Mashiri really wanted him there. Bill Kenwright might have said, go for who you want. But Mashiri's the man now pulling the purse strings. You've just given him a record buy for any Everton manager by far. But you back him in the transfer market. What's the point of getting him in and saying, here's my hit list, and we can't get him and do that?
What I meant by his hit list, though, was people he knows who will come to him. Because he's
like the Koeman,
but it's all innuendo, Ped. Yeah. Witzled and all these fellas, and isn't he? Yeah. You should know, seriously, and agents, as you know, it's not always done the right way. When they go on international duty in the Euros, you have a mention in the ear, David, do you fancy Everton? It's a yay or a nay, and then you move on.
Yeah. But isn't the problem, for me, the problem is if you're trying to buy a level of player. Now, you've been a footballer, Ron, so if clubs...
He was a good footballer.
Well, yeah.
He was unsung.
Well, I always remind him of that goal at West Ham every time he comes in, so it makes him smile. If you've got clubs coming to you, and Everton are coming to you, and yet you're looking at Juve and teams like that, just taking Witzel. I'm not bothered whether Witzel comes or not, to be honest, because he didn't impress me in the Euros, but he'll be looking and thinking, well, that offer's on the table from Everton there. But, I'd rather go to these clubs first. So what do you do with that? Do you hurry that up and go, you either give us an answer today and we move on? Or do you go, all right, well, I understand where you're coming from.
No, but as you've said, your players want the best deal, and obviously clubs do. But I think that's what Lukaku's doing. He's just hanging on. At the end of it, if he stays at Everton, which, I hope he does for the 12 months and score goals the way he did last season, but we need someone else to play with him.
Oh, definitely.
But if you know that's the deal there, and I can get an improved deal, we could blag, and same as the agent, 2 weeks to go, he'd love to stay at Everton. But I think he set his heart on Chelsea. Now, if he doesn't end up going to Chelsea, I can't see Juve and all these teams coming in for him. No. But a lot of players, it's like... who can last out the longest, the club or the player or the agent. But we've got to think of Everton Football Club.
But as a manager in the club, we start soon. We're
totally right.
12 days away. Yeah. We're starting. We've got to hit every game is going to be important.
But this is why I said last season, David, he should have went ages ago. End of story. I mean, very, very poor football. I watched the Leicester game at their place, and we were absolutely awful. But I could have said that 6 months early. We never changed the way we played. No player you could say went, I'll tell you what, he played fantastic this season. So but all that, Ped, we knew about. It wasn't all of a sudden, surprise.
I generally think we would have been in that Charity Shield yesterday if he'd been sacked after
Definitely,
the derby.
Totally agree with you.
And I think if it had happened, then it would have given everyone a boost.
But tell me then, why didn't he go after the derby game? Ideal opportunity.
I've got no idea why, because I don't know who was running the club at the time. Well, and it comes back to, there's a lot of things being said about Tony Hibbert and the club being too, changing mentality. Well, I'm glad the mentality is changing. I'm glad it's becoming run like a business. But like I'm with you, I think Martinez should have gone a long time ago. And maybe when he did go, then Koeman should have been sounded out then if he's the man they wanted. And then maybe he would have had a little bit longer to have a look at those targets, who he wanted to bring in, what he needed to do with the club. Because I just think it's almost like he started work on the 1st of July. And that's where it all sort of started, where it really should have started March. Because you look at Liverpool and you look what Klopp's had half a season,
and
to get what he wants, and it all starts now.
No, but that's why I think Koeman's gone quiet as well. You know, all the euphoria that we had with Mashiri taking over Koeman, what a great buy. It's sort of the bubbles burst, and we've got to ignite it. We've got to really turn around and say, what are you going to do? But with a week to go,
but all it takes, Ronny, is a good result against Tottenham.
No, well, I've been there myself when you've had a poor pre-season and you win the first game. But I think hand on heart, David, I don't think we will. I think again, I don't know what team he's going to play. I really don't. And Tottenham, for me, they beat Inter Milan 7-1 the other day. Okay, again, it's pre-season, but I think we're underscored again. I really do think a poor pre-season against Barnes. There's no disrespect to those teams. We've got to play top draw teams.
Can I just interject here?
Yeah.
I think we need to be more positive for our viewers here. Seriously.
No.
I'm still optimistic.
I'm the most optimistic. I think the saying how it is, and I'll always be like that.
We got rid of the manager.
Yeah.
The underperforming
Eventually,
manager.
David.
We are clearing out some of the deadwood. We've got a new owner. We've sold all our season tickets that we can sell. We've got Ronny Goodlass on the television.
What more do you want? I agree with you there.
We want to be optimistic. We do tend to put ourselves down.
No, but that's being Evertonian, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're going to be the new Evertonians.
No, David.
Ronny, we're going to win something soon. Yeah. Believe you me.
David, let me ask you.
I've said that for 21 years.
You kind of alluded to it before. You mentioned bringing Steve Walsh in and where Ronald Koeman may be in 2 years' time if Everton have done well. Walsh is coming for that reason, isn't he? We've seen it at Southampton. Les Reed was there with Koeman. Koeman's gone. Southampton have still signed 6 players because he's brought them in. And this is what Walsh is coming for us, hasn't it? That even if the manager moves, the network and everything else.
Well, that was the great loss with David Moyes. David Moyes, over his 10-year period, had developed a tremendous network. You know, he could. I mean, he put so much energy into it himself that he was on. He knew players himself. He didn't really need a network. He worked so hard at finding players. And I think once we lost Moyes and we changed to Martinez, we lost that. You know, witness. I think we bought people off the videos. You know, off YouTube, rather than going out.
Right, though, because it wasn't just the scouts we lost. We lost a lot more than that.
We lost the whole.
We lost people
framework.
like Dave Billows, fitness coach. It was everything was just ripped up when Martinez came in, and we all, and I know I did. We all just fell for it because the season was so good the first year, and. But we didn't realise that all the things behind the scenes were just getting ripped up. And that's why I'm positive about the Steve Walsh thing. I think it's something that's been needed.
I agree.
Let me ask you about Koeman then, because these have said their piece. Are you still fully behind and fully excited?
We've been quite positive, haven't we, Will? That people have been really down. And
so is it negative? Is it Ronny?
I understand fully.
I understand
because I'm not teetering on the edge. As
You're
such,
back September, aren't
but
you?
I do think the pre-season, that it's not much to do with Ronald Koeman, the pre-season. It's like Martinez's first pre-season. That was Moyes' pre-season. He fell into it. But I do look at the outside and think, new manager, director of football, the stadium looks finally like it's going to get a kick up the backside, and Joe Anderson keeps on dropping little innuendos about it and all the rest of it, and about what's going to happen. So from that side, I'm quite positive. I do wish that there was a little bit more transfers coming in.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
But
I think you can add. I think you can add to that. I thought we were going to get a little bit of lipstick on the old lady as well.
Well, we are, but there's a story behind that which we can't really talk about.
A bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But it's these little things that impact on our optimism and on the bubble.
They chip away.
They
and
chip
this is
away,
always like Everton, isn't it?
Well, it's like the
Hang
hotel.
on, we're going through the videos here. Right, sure, I'll get Tom to pull your microphone off. Before we look at our next video about how Everton are doing, David has got some very, very important news. Dave, the Hall of Fame.
It's back.
It's back.
It's back big time.
Big time.
We had 11 of them. There were 11 Nuremberg rallies.
Right.
And we suspended it for 7 years for one reason or another. But it's back. Smaller, quieter. Let me tell you all about it.
Go on, I'm excited.
The dinner where the people will be inducted is on the 10th of March at the Hilton. Okay. The ticket information will come out at the end of September.
Okay.
Before then, we're going to have a ballot. You can pick 4 from 8. Okay. I shall now tell you the candidates.
Do we have a drum roll?
In no particular order, except what's in my head. We have John Bailey.
He'll be there anyway.
Fantastic footballer, John.
Bales.
Much underrated, and championship winner, title winner, FA Cup winner. You know,
great wearer of hats.
Wonderful haberdashery. Yes. Number 2, we have Kevin Campbell, a saviour.
The saviour.
I think much underrated against a saviour, who I believe is in the security business now. So we should be all right on the night.
All right, yeah.
Martin
Probably
Dobson.
get your Mark Morrison as well.
Martin Dobson, elegant.
Midfield player.
Should have got more England caps, shouldn't he? Martin Dobson.
A beautiful perm
player,
as well.
Wonderful
Great
player.
pair.
Number 4 on my list here, Tony Hibbert.
Yeah.
Much underappreciated by some,
Controversial.
but a lovely lad.
Yes.
Everton through and through,
Yeah.
and we'll move on. Nigel Martin.
Oh, yes.
Shouldn't he be, I mean...
He should be our number 1 now.
Maybe you should
second best goalkeeper I've ever
Can
seen.
I just say, when you're reading them out, David, don't sway. You're supposed to read the 8 names. The viewers are supposed to pick. Just do your 8. They can pick, and then we'll get the best 4.
Done. I went to RADA for this, buddy.
You sound like Donald Trump there.
I'm saying it with emotion.
Ohio, can we have your votes,
I'm
please?
trying to build up here.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Go on, then. Go on,
Nigel
David.
Martin.
Yeah.
just in case we rerun this and take Ronnie out of it. Nigel
Is
Martin.
that his dad? You said Nigel Martin.
I know I have.
Is that Martin Senior?
I'm saying it again in case to cut you out.
Got you.
Nigel Martin. Next one, Joe Parkinson.
Oh.
The lad gave his career up for Everton.
Love
I
Joe.
mean, he played hurt. He's one of the only players I saw limp onto the pitch.
Quick story about Joe. I had 3 tables at my wedding, and one of them was the Joe Parkinson table. That's how much I love Joe Parkinson. Big
never been on.
Big Joe, Kevin
Fantastic.
Ratcliffe and Joe Parkinson. That's how much I love him.
And his dad had a great chat show.
Yeah.
He did, actually, to be fair.
And the next one, number 7, is Dave Thomas. Now,
Great winger.
we just a lovely winger.
Probably the best winger ever had in the 70s.
No, we didn't. No, it wasn't. He replaced the best winger we had in the 70s.
David, seriously, I love you.
Seriously.
Fair enough. Ronnie didn't wear his socks like him, though.
Well, is that your gimmick? You think you're going to get in the Hall of Fame because you don't wear your socks down?
Tom Davies is saying.
Right. And the last one is Psychopath. Pat Vanden Houwe.
He'll be there.
He won everything. So the thing is that through Toffee Web and NSO website, we're going to have the ballot. You can only vote once unless you're in Texas, and then you can vote as many times as you like. That's the way that we do
your
it.
Huey Green impression now. We want your votes, votes, votes.
We want your
People
vote.
don't know who Huey Green is who watch our videos.
David does.
Yes, thank you very much. It's 4 from 8, and the results of that will be announced that we're having a EFC Heritage Society get-together day at the Everton School just before the game against Crystal Palace on October the 1st, and that's when the results will be announced. 4 from 8. Let me move on.
Go on.
No, that's all I've
That's
got.
it. That's it. I'm quite
saving
sure
the
we're
best.
going to hear more from David
go.
in other videos.
So the
there
Hall
you
of
go.
Fame is back.
You cut me off
I
there.
know I'm giving you,
Hall of Fame is back. Make sure that you look out for that. Make sure you get your votes in as well. Otherwise, Dave and Ronny
Dave will come and see you.
Dave will come and find you.
David will be on the bounce.
That's all I've got to say. Look out for more from David as we do more videos.